that are totally brand new to me, and I'm sure a lot of other people. Like, do people that work in this industry, they all kind of start from one common place and then specialize as the more experience they get, and then from there kind of figure out where they fit in on the set? Or would you say in the beginning you're like, I want to be the next Steven Spielberg, or are you like, no, I like lighting, so I'm gonna make that my main goal? Like, how does it work, do you think?
So like the film industry, everyone that works in the film industry, I think it's safe to say that everyone's a fucking lunatic.
Okay.
And like different in their own way. That's why like they joined this band of misfits to like make art, right?
Sure.
So yeah, most people start off just like getting into the industry and like working on sets and like just like getting paid for a summer job, especially in this city, right? Like that's a given. If you're an 18-year-old, pretty built, you could PA all day, stand outside for 16 hours, have radio, have like a trash bag, and like pick up after yourself, and boom, that's like $270 a day for like entire summer. Yeah, pretty worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but they like start to see people on set, right? And like what they're doing, and like, yeah, sure, some kids do it just because they need the money. It's a cool gig, right? But like the few that stay and like actually like go through the entire process of like going into like deeper into the film industry, they're more observative. They observe more of like what's happening on set because they want to be paid more. They want to do a better job. They want to like not be at the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah, basically. So then there's like the special people who get like special treatment because they're film royalty. Like their parents worked in the film industry. Oh, okay. And they just got like sent up like a couple ranks higher than they should be. Sure. But I mean, film families are great. I have nothing against it, but that's the only like other way. And then some people just go to like film school, or like don't go to film school, just like the medium of video and audio combined. And then they like decide to do everything by themselves, and that's a very prominent scene right now. And then later on, they realize that there's a lot of work in this industry, and then in the entertainment and media industry, and they're like, okay, might as well see, like I could do my own thing on the side, and I could also like, you know, work in the film industry. And by then they would have had like just by doing things on their own, they would have had like an idea of what they want to do. So I fit in that category. Yeah. I've been doing this since like I was like 8 years old. Like I learned how to use Windows Movie Maker. I had no internet. And I was like bored as fuck. Yeah.
What are we talking, like 2000 and
Windows XP?
Windows XP.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the best Windows Movie Maker.
And you're just making little home movies with your
with like
siblings
photos.
Or what?
Yeah. I didn't know how to use like fucking slideshow stuff, right? Okay. So I was like, I don't know how to use that, but I know how to like drag and drop things into a timeline. Okay. So instead of making like slideshows where you can like interactively click and like, this is my house, this is my wedding, right? I just did it with like wedding photos that were like digitally scanned and like all that kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that taught me a lot. I was like 8 years old. Yeah. Like doing that shit, playing RuneScape, Club Penguin, shit like that. So yeah.
So you've had an interest in this for a while then.
Oh yeah.
Like when you're a kid, you're 8, and you kind of you were already drawn to this, and you had an idea of this is something that you wanted to pursue. Yeah. Telling stories and, piecing things together and.
Yeah. Yeah. No, cause like as a kid, like I don't want to say like I was like not wealthy, but like we were like lower middle class, right? So like, there's not many activities to do. And I realized like the greatest thing to do is just like sit and think and just like make situations in your head. Yeah. And like I realized that like if I had like a bunch of like Lego toys, right? Like Lego men, and like I could build whatever I want. I can make like stop animation. Yeah. Like videos like that. Yeah. Right? And my cousins were like, they got their cell phones at around that time, right? And they're like, yo, let's make a video. So like we take the camera. We like they had no idea how animation worked at the time. Like they're like, oh, like we're just gonna take a photo of it and pretend they're saying these things. So I was like, no, you could like take a photo of them, move it slightly, take a photo of them, and like make it one frame each in like Windows Movie Maker. And that's how like I really started getting into it. I was like 8, 10.
No way.
Yeah. So it always just came natural in a sense. Yeah. I didn't even like look up how to make stop animation. It's just like it doesn't make sense if we're just pretending when you can like take multiple photos and make them one frame. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's cool, man. I had a close friend in elementary school that used to do the same thing with his brother. They would make little movies, and they'd have voices, and they had exactly like they'd make the little Lego guy walk across the table and whatnot, and there'd be like little scenarios, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, if I think back on it now, like it's pretty impressive. Not only like to be able to come up with the original ideas and the progression of the whole story, but the technology side of it and using the computers and all that, you know, when you're 8, 9, 10 years old. You know, this is way before iPads and stuff like that, before like, you know, Apple was around, but they weren't making those devices that were for everybody back then. This is like, you know, PC stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were like always so impressed by those little stories that Ian, remember his name was Ian, used to make. And then so like you must have had some influences, right? That helped you kind of take things to the next level. Like,
yeah. So, I come from like a very entertainment focused family. Like a lot of on my mom's side, at least, they're like very focused on like the entertainment industry, stuff like that. So they're musicians, they were artists, stuff like that. And they always just encouraged to be creative, right? And me being like a kid, being raised with like a godlike computer in my house. Like my mom, she worked in the graphic design industry, right? So like in that area of the media and entertainment industry. So I always had like access to a computer, and I was always bored because like I was a very fragile and like frail kid. Like going outside was not like an option. Like sure, I could ride a bike for like 3 blocks, and then it's like I got to turn around, right? So yeah, there's like when your mom's like telling you like don't go outside because you're gonna get hurt. Like that's
hilarious.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do? Read? Like no, it's 2009. Like I stayed inside. Okay. Oh, YouTube was the start of YouTube was like the most important thing. Yeah, probably that's what got really like allowed me to like see that. But yeah, sorry, I had to go on like tangent to like get to where
that's cool. That's cool.
No. Yeah. Besides from that, influences, nothing serious until like high school.
Yeah.
In high school, I started a job with a photo studio, Perry Thompson Photography. He's one of Calgary's like more prolific photographers, and I worked under him for a bit. And
cool.
He really pushed me to like go up a level in not only like the art industry and like the digital media industry, but in what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like he's like living. I in Calgary, I live in like a very not bad area, but like old neighborhood. It's called the Northeast Quadrant for a reason. And if you mention the Northeast Quadrant to anyone from Calgary, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Forest Lawn and Saddletown." Like they know that area
has a reputation.
Has a reputation, right? So like I had to travel halfway across. No, not even halfway. Like completely across the city, because Canada Olympic Park is like on the opposite side of the city, and I live in Forest Lawn area, and on that side, it's like a bunch of new neighborhoods built in like the 90s. Houses are like beautiful, stuff like that, right? And here he was, a photographer. Like I don't want to like say his age because I'm not sure if I actually know it, but like upwards of 40.
Okay,
right? He was taking photos. He had a family and he had a very nice house. He had a couple cars. Like he had a lot of friends, and I was really inspired by that. I was like, wow, like you could really do this under art and stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
By following what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something that really like motivated me in high school in a sense, because I had the opportunity to go to higher education, like university for computer science, all that, right?
Okay.
But I chose not to because I did a lot of research on like Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
And I really like I'm a huge map nerd, right? I love maps. I love data. I love everything. And maps is just like pure data right there, right? And I realized there was like a demographic that was like untapped in Vancouver compared to like the rest of Canada. And I realized that at the time, Canada, that was like what, 2017 I graduated. Like there was no real superstars in Canada except for like who? Drake, Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, right? So I realized like why are all these like East Coast people getting like pushed out and not these West Coast people.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe there is something in Vancouver. And when I got here, my gut feeling was right. Like it was literally like I didn't do too much research into it, but like I looked at it, I was like, there's something in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here and like have experienced Vancouver for a year and a half, it's been proven to me over and over and over that this city is a year or two from entering like the not the global stage, but like the more mainstream stages of entertainment, like pop entertainment, rap entertainment, urban contemporary arts, stuff like that, right? So I was like, okay, like I'm not going back to school, and if none of this pans out well, I'm still young.
Yeah,
I can go back to school, right? So I was like, okay, I'll do this, and here I am. So yeah,
dude, that's basically what you said word for word there about Vancouver not being discovered yet, but being a gold mine in a sense. Like that's been a theme on so many episodes so far. And obviously this is your first time on the show, so it's just like that's a big moment hearing someone else say that we're like on the exact same page with all of that. So
yeah,
I feel the same way. Yeah. And you get to see it from not just a music standpoint, but from the other world that you're working in, which is like visual and stuff like that. Where do you see the most potential with what you're doing? Is it the fact of like we're like our location? We have so many amazing places to shoot videos, like Jax's video, for example, where Stanley Park, just a bus ride away, and then we can be back at the studio, and we got the ocean there. We also have the mountains. It's just like it's incredible, right?
Yeah. Personally, like if I were like fully, here's a little secret I've been holding up for a bit, but I've for the past like year and a half, ever since I got here, I've not pretended because I actually did the work, but I've acted as if like I was someone who was going to like work for in the music industry. In the film industry, sorry. I'd be like not just a talent scout, but like a location scout, right? I come out here, take note of everything, right, and then like prep it for someone who pays me money for it, right? And I've done the same thing here, but not just for the film industry alone, because like they literally have like a fact book they give you in film school. Like they give you a fact book. It's like is how much daily rates for all these like union costs are.
Okay.
Like they give you a fact book. They're like blah blah blah. Many productions coming out of Canada every year. 41 billion in of our GDP is from the Canadian entertainment industry. Right.
Wow.
They give you all these like facts. Right. And I've been basically like compiling all that information that I took for them this like year and a half I spent here, putting it into one book and just like keeping it. It's not really for anybody. It's more for myself. But after that, like it's a good book of information to have, seeing as there's so much here. And I've noticed that there's like a pattern when it comes to like successful locations in this entertainment industry. And it's like for Canada at least, right? Like for the entire world, I don't know. Like I'm not there yet. But for Canada, there's not really a formula, but like ideal conditions for a city to be brought up like that. First, it's a large population. Vancouver has like what? Like Greater Vancouver area has like what? 3.1 million, right?
I guess so. Something like that.
Something like that, right? Two, it's the vicinity to the United States. Toronto's like right there next to New York, right? Vancouver, we're like an hour and a half drive from the border.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's easy, right? And then three is where like Mecca's, like how close are we to the next, like to the mainstream media's like Mecca, and Toronto's next to New York, right? That's not like their Mecca, but it does have a huge presence in the entertainment industry. And Vancouver is like a 2-hour flight away from Los Angeles. Cheap flights, everything, right?
Straight south, pretty much.
Yeah, straight south, like 1,700 kilometers, right? And also, what's it called? Sorry, I have to think. It's been a long day.
That's okay.
Just due to like how integrated our entertainment industries are, like it's like the perfect weather for it. And seeing as like I've been to the underground shows here in like Vancouver, I've been to like the more mainstream shows. I've seen it all, right? And there's something about this city that's like so lively. Like everyone's just trying to push and push and push, right? But like literally, we just need like someone to believe in this city. That's all we need. It's just right now. It's just a little push, right?
Yeah.
But for the question asked, like if those are because the industry is like that. And because Vancouver's like on the come up in a sense, like it's just a matter of how. Like we have everything here.
It sounds like we have all of the ingredients.
Yeah, we have all the ingredients.
Right?
We don't have the recipe. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, we're just trying to like get people in the city to like figure out. First one to figure it out wins, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like
And I hope they do it right.
It's like a slot machine, you know? There's all the money inside and everyone's putting the coins in, pulling the lever down, and it's just like eventually we're gonna hit the jackpot, right?
One day. Yeah, but we're just waiting on someone to like come with more coins. Like
so
but no, like it's an experience out here, and there's so many good artists, there's so many everything. There's everything.
Oh.
Yeah. And it makes me so not anxious, like angry that like we have it here. Like there's obviously something here, but why isn't it like picking up traction, right?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons, and I think about, you know, why is this artist globally, like, what is it that they're doing that's so special? Like, it doesn't seem difficult. Why are they so popular? But, you know, trends are a really big factor. Timing, it's just like, you know, we just talked about having the perfect storm, having the right recipe. It's just like, you know, it'll happen, but it's got to be, you know, all the stars have to align, right? And it's just like, it's not that we aren't as good. It's not that someone's better, A is better than B, or this artist that's blowing up is better than this one. It's just like what happens to be the flavor right at that time, you know?
Yeah.
Any of, you know, I won't name names, but I could count on, you know, tons of artists I've worked with that have come through the studio that I could be like, Jose, that, you know, in confidence, you know, this guy could be the guy, you know. I work with a whole bunch of those guys. And for me, that's so exciting knowing that, you know, we're about to witness history, or I feel like I'm about to witness greatness. Like this is like Mike Tyson before he became Mike Tyson. Like, but I'm training him in the ring, right, to become the champion. And I've got like 6 or 7 champions at 2-track, right? And it's just like, fuck any of these guys. So it's just, but the cool thing is they're all young. A lot of these guys are really young, and it's, you know, there's no rush. There's no rush. They're getting better all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we just got to wait for that spotlight of that and that, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah. If anything, like the only thing I could see missing from like the entire equation that every other city has is like Vancouver really doesn't have its like own like identity in a sense. It steals identities from other cities and like masks it as their own, but like under like the Canadian blanket of like kindness. So that's like the only thing I like, because the Bay Area has their own like hyphy culture, like with fucking like E40, all that, like everyone, like everyone from the Bay, like, you know, the Bay sound when you hear it, right? South Central LA, you know that sound, right? You know, Los Angeles is full of weird people that were just collected because everyone's like, oh yeah, maybe there's something in Los Angeles, right? So like that, there is culture, like not culture, I don't want to say, because like there is a culture here, but
it's like a history though.
It's almost history.
A few shows ago we had my good friend Hugo was on, and he was he was reminding everyone about Swollen Members. And you may be a little bit too young to remember, but when I was, you know, your age, they were international. They were like on all the top 10 playlists of, you know, back when like people used to do music video countdowns and shit like that. Like,
oh, that was my shit, dude.
You know,
that was my favorite shit.
They were big. They were big. They were like in the rap world. And you know, Mad Child went and did a solo career, and it's like, but they just fizzled out. And but people forget, like, that Rascals and all that shit. That was Vancouver, man.
That was Vancouver.
And then there's just been this like huge void ever since then. But in a sense, that's our history.
Yeah.
That's our UGKs and our, E40s and our guys that are Bay Area guys. Those are our guys. Like, I don't know if you could define them as having a sound, but if they had left a bit more of a legacy, there'd be a platform at least for some of these younger guys to
like
build on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like there is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. Mad Child apparently was signing, guys from LA, which makes no sense. Like, dude,
it's your own city. Like,
come sign some guys from Vancouver, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but this is what I'm hearing, and I trust Hugo. He's very well connected, and with the things he says, he knows a lot about what he's talking about. But if that is true, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You know, bring your city up. Look at how fucking well Drake did.
Oh yeah,
bringing his city up.
That was a formula, though.
That's the formula. That's the formula for anybody.
Honestly, like when Drake, everything. Okay, everyone like makes fun of me for like listening to Drake a lot, but like there's like a lot of not hidden messages, but like good things to take from what he says. Like the thing about doing it, not being the first to do it, but the first to do it right. That's really fucking important. Yeah. There's so much wisdom that he. Oh God, I don't. Sounds cheesy as shit, but like there's so much to take from like what he basically laid it out in all his tracks. Like, this is the recipe, follow it, right?
100%.
Yeah. And what was Drake's recipe? First, get a platform of like following. Degrassi got that for him, right? Yeah. Second, go from that industry to another, right? That he did that. He went to music. And second, like get a large demographic that's outside your like current demographic. So he just didn't like look for people in Toronto. He went to like New Orleans and like Atlanta, right? Like with like the Lil Wayne and like Lil Wayne
signing with Cash Money.
Cash Money and all that, right? So like, that got him traction, not just in like our city. Like we were proud of it. Like as a country, we were like, we have
that's our boy.
That's our boy. Like who else? Like I can't name one other like Canadian rapper.
Yeah,
I honestly can't.
Yeah, I mean, I can name some from back in my day, like I said, when I was in high school, but they're not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
It wouldn't mean anything to name them. So
Drake's like sitting on a throne right now. Like he's not just king of Canada. He's like he's not king of the hill in Canada. He's king of the hill. He's like competing on the international stage.
Yeah.
So like after that step, what'd he do? Just like he just made art and just like was comfy with it, right? And he like dropped 3 albums and then Twitter picked him up easy. Like, shout out to Twitter. Like, Twitter is probably like culture-wise the most important tool right now, and it's very
powerful. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a very controversial thing to say, but like I'm serious. Like, Twitter has done so much. So Twitter made Little B. I love Little B. Like that Caillou freestyle, insane. I was like 10 years old. I was a 10-year-old kid in Calgary, and I still managed to listen to it because my cousins had Twitter on their BlackBerry curves.
Right.
And like,
oh wow,
yeah. Oh, I love the BlackBerry so much. But no, like that was the recipe. Yeah. Get big, keep going, pick it up, use everything to your advantage, and then
put other people on.
Yeah,
he's had his OVO label, and he's got Party Next Door. He's got all these guys coming up, and he's very proudly Canadian, not in an ego way, but like not in a patriotic American way. Like No, I mean that with the best intention, of course, but. He's just, reps Canada, reps Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And it's like, it's given everyone a platform. And now, like, I'm sounding like a broken record at this point because, like I said, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
But look at all the guys coming out of Toronto now, out of the East Coast, just like mushrooms overnight. Boom, 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 boom.
We got like Killy, we got Presso, we got like everyone in XO. I don't know what happened to Majid Jordan though. I miss him. But
yeah.
I got it.
He'll be back.
I hope he's
sure
back.
He will.
He makes some of the best like music like to cry to next to Drake. Like
music to cry to.
Yeah, like Frank Ocean, Majid Jordan, Drake. Yeah. Like that's the golden trio.
That's a good
Maybe Miguel, like
for some feely Thursday nights.
Oh yeah. Why Thursdays? Like what do you do on Thursdays?
So yeah, and now like it's so poetic that the Raptors are in the finals
Yeah.
now. Like it's all this,
Everything's
it's
lining
all
up.
accumulating for
Yeah.
Toronto. The stars are really aligning for
Yeah.
them, right? So Drake's never been bigger. The basketball team's on the top of the world, and
Yeah.
it's like, wow, this is great.
Yeah,
I'm so
no.
happy for them. You know.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of basketball, but I support them not because I'm bandwagoning,
Yeah.
but because like it to people in the US, it seems like, oh, I'm bandwagoning because like I'm cheering for Toronto. No, like that's the only team. Like the Grizzlies left so like a long time ago. Like
Yeah.
like that's the only team we can present, right? And if that brings us to like the global stage, not the global stage, but like the North American stage, and like gives us a seat in the talks,
Yeah.
like I'm all for it,
All
right?
about it.
I'm
Yeah.
all about it. Like I honestly, it is. I'm calling it like everything everyone's waiting for in Vancouver. It's happening in the next year to like 2 years because I don't want to jinx it, but I know who's gonna win, and I don't bet money, but I put some money down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
patriotically, I put money down.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh no, I'm gambling addiction.
No, I agree, man. I've never been a basketball fan, but the other night I went out of my way to watch the last bit of the game when I came home from work because I cared, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually emotionally invested in this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't from like a, you know, so I can brag. I was like genuinely like, I hope the Raptors win. This is so exciting. This is great. And then they did, and I went and watched like all the confetti fall after the game, and I was like hooked. I was right there with them, you know, watching Drake on the sidelines.
Yeah, like screaming and shit, like, oh shit. After the dunk, I went on Twitter and I watched like everything that was happening on like Dundas Street in Vancouver, in Toronto. I was like, wow, like people are wilding out. No arrests, like no deaths. Like it wasn't like the Vancouver riots here. It was like people were happy and like they were respectful, and it was like, wow, we sound really Canadian.
Yeah.
Like people were like going wild because this doesn't happen often.
No, the streets were packed.
Yeah. I
Like,
saw all the videos.
You would have thought they had won already. This is just a qualifier playoff
to
game.
the finals.
But when they showed the views of the streets with all the people out there, I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah,
These people are like so into this.
Yeah.
There's like passionate fan base out of control. It was really impressive, you know, and everyone had like their Drake heads.
Yeah.
Oh, they're holding up their
And the We the North flags and like all the Raptors jerseys.
It's beautiful, man, to see that level of just like community and support. So
especially in my lifetime, like this is literally a first for me.
Yeah.
Winter 2010 men's hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah, that was actually
That was the last time I saw the country come together. Like,
we stopped
This
everything
much. Yeah.
in school. I remember that. Like,
oh yeah, people were on the streets just with signs, just honking, waving at everybody. Everybody was best friends for the day. Like,
no, like I heard that. Like I heard of like there's on the Olympic channel, because you know how you go through like the YouTube rabbit hole and like just end up watching random shit. Like there was like Canadian 2010 men's hockey final game, Canadian goal winner reactions from all around like every like major city in like Canada, right?
Yeah.
And I shit you not, there's like a camera where like TELUS Science World is.
Okay.
There's like a camera there, right? And you could hear the city roar as soon as they found out, right?
Oh yeah.
And like same thing in Toronto, but it was like on like one of the main streets. I'm not from Toronto. I don't know Toronto, right? In Calgary, things got wild for that. I remember that shit. That was like a wild ass day. Like my dad, I've never seen my dad so happy. Like, my dad doesn't even like hockey, but he was like happy as shit because like I was like, he really like felt like everyone was brought together that day.
Absolutely.
And patriotism. And health. Like
100%, man.
and that was the last time like this that I felt something like this.
So yeah, we're about to witness. You know, how long ago was that? 2012. So, and it's
2010
or 2010. Yeah. So
2010.
yeah, almost 10 years ago. Honestly, like
Stars align.
So this could be huge.
I hope.
And you know, maybe that's what it'll take. Maybe it's gonna take. Maybe it'll be something outside of what we thought. Maybe it'll be a sports event. Maybe it'll be an actor that breaks through from Vancouver. It'll just take someone or something just to move the lens over here, and then things start to become get the attention that they deserve.
The ball gets rolling and like everything
Yeah.
is in motion, right? But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
That's the big
We
question.
don't, like you said, I really like how you said that. We have the ingredients, but we don't have the recipe. So.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So what's going on with your current like what projects are you working on right now? I know the Jamon one that you've been talking about quite a bit.
Yeah, so this is the first time in literally ever that I'm finally I'm in a position to work in like projects fully without like having like a day job, right? I can still support myself and everything because I work at Fortune now.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I'm only working at like clubs because like, it's the nightlife.
What are you
There's
doing
artists
there?
out there? I bar back, so I get to see everything that happens at the bars. It's like being a bartender, but not serving drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Got it.
Yeah, no, it's a fun job, but you get to see nightlife and like everybody that like the entertainment side of everything, right? And that's why I work at the clubs. But literally, I don't have a day job anymore because my day job is working on these like projects that I'm working on, like the Jamon music video that I'm working on right now, or Jax's new Sundress music video. We're working on that right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything else, but yeah, I don't think those artists have like fully confirmed it. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I have like respect for them. I'm not gonna say it, but we got a couple projects in the pipeline. So
that's really cool.
That's now my day job, and my second job is literally getting info for my day job. So it's a nice like feeder circle. Like
that's really cool.
Socialize with everybody, observe people at night, and then like sleep, wake up, do that work, and then like that relates to what I do at night.
It does quite a bit. Hey, that's a good place to be working. To like all of those same people are coming through there. Really, right?
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. What's it called? One of my manager's friends, and he hosts some stuff like events at I think Saturday nights at Republic. His name's Dizzy. We found out that he works in the film industry, not the film industry, but like the music video industry, which is technically the entertainment industry.
Okay.
He does music videos too, right? And he's like an OG, like in the city. Like he's not someone who, like me, who left another city to like clout chase in a bigger city, which I fully support because like it only adds to the culture and like everything. But still, and I've met so many people from the club because of that, right? And people that work at clubs do the exact same I'm doing. So like, it's nice to know that like other people have like the same mindset in a sense, and like that their nightlife should also be like their downtime, because at the club you're still dancing, you're still drinking even though you're working, right? That's a well-known fact. Everyone behind the bar is drunk no matter what. Like I'm serious. Everyone there is like hammered or like enjoying themselves. So you get to rewind, you get to unwind, you get to like just chill, you get to watch people that you know will come up and talk to you, and you get to see who's clicks with who, write that down, right? See who's working with who. This DJ was at that club and no longer at this club. What are the rivalries here? Like why they get dropped from this like promotional company compared to this, and like what happened there. And then you could like do more research into that, add it to your fact book, and then over time you'll have enough of the information to like see what you could piece together to like push even further. And I think that's my main goal right now. And that's what I've been doing mostly. And like, there's video work and there's all that work too. But like stuff like this is what actually matters on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you're doing the reconnaissance. Reconnaissance work on the low, right?
No, but like I'm only doing this like hopefully when a big company like Universal or Sony Music Entertainment, when someone like that comes over and is like, so who do we talk to know everybody? I want to be that person, right?
Yeah.
Like,
to be like, well connected, and you're like you said, you're doing your homework and you're building your fact book up. You never know.
And if they want to like hire me to do the exact same thing in like other cities, be my guest. Like I'm very low maintenance living, right? Like stupidly low maintenance. I don't need much. I sleep in a fucking shoebox, like 125 square feet. At least it's downtown. That's all that matters, right? Yeah. But like literally that would be a dream job. Just to, like do that for other like big companies that don't have the time and resources to like fully send someone there to like learn everything and take it in, and then like make decisions for the company. They find someone that's reputable, hire them, take what they know, in return get hired by the company, and then everything works out perfectly, right? So that's why it's important to have it, because like I know like, sure, other people have like their own little versions of this, but no one really writes it down, right? Everyone keeps it in their head. Like no one has written like a guide of like why this person shouldn't work, this studio shouldn't work with this studio, or like why we can't do that, right? No one does that. They just keep mental tracks, and like, they follow off that reputation. But if you have something written down and ready to give to someone else who wants it, like I'm good at climbing social ladders, right? Like
that information becomes super valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's a year of research and development that they don't have to do, right? So like climbing the ladders are good in cities like this. It's like a gold mine in a sense, because this city's unknown, and because it's unknown, no, they're not going to send so many executives down here. Let's be honest. They have, but but they're not going to like do it just to be like, okay, who's hot, who's popping here, right? Unless there's actually like concrete like evidence of like the next little Nas is here, like to do like a Old Town Road. Like if that's here, then they'll probably send someone. But for unknown cities and like small art cities like Montreal's not a small art city, but it has a scene. Yeah, and people know of it, but it's not like that, right? But if I were to do that for other places, and if other people in other places understand what I'm saying, that have like scenes but aren't too public about it, like it's good, because then you have something that these big companies don't. And in a sense, it's kind of selling out, but like you could like, well, there's no really selling out if that's your passion and that's what you're good at.
I think as long as you're not burning any bridges, or you're not creating wars between people, it's just information. You're just out there doing the footwork.
Unbiased.
You're a scout. Really, it's just exactly. If you're unbiased, you're neutral. Yeah, you're just like, hey, here I present to you here are the facts.
The Bible.
The Bible.
Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. But it's just that like it is crucial, because like if you think of it, like everyone in the city is like very connected. Like everyone that matters in a sense. But everyone's connected, but no one like keeps a track record of it. And to know histories, to know all that, and to like move operations in like ways that benefit you. Like I'm doing this for myself. This is for my own production company, right? This is for Own I Know. Like I do this for Own I Know. I do this for 2-Track, right? Just so we have a focused view on like unbiased opinions on everybody and everything, and stuff like that, right? But the only thing is, well, I'm like going really off track here, but
it's all good, man.
Fuck, I don't even remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Blah blah blah. Unfocused. And sorry.
You're doing this for you.
I'm doing this because it's for me to use, and if some, because I plan on staying here, right? I plan on staying in the city for sure. I'm not going back to Calgary. LA is fucking a wasteland. I'll move to LA, work there for a bit, take what I learned from the big leagues, bring it up here, right? But
for experience.
But I won't like stay there, because this place needs people like me to stay here, and they need people like you to be here too. They need people. They need artists to stay here too. All our artists can't just be moving out to like the hidden hills in Los Angeles and like the valley. Yeah, you can't just be doing that.
Well, it's too saturated. It's not going to become cool anymore. It's when it'll be cool to be from Vancouver. Yeah, and that'll be like, and then we build from that. But it's just like, you go to LA, you just get just quicksand, man. You just get just evaporated.
You don't have if you don't have 6 months of runway, you're gonna be homeless, right?
Yeah. So
there's too many creatives out there. It's oversaturated, but I mean, I get it. I get why people are there, because there's an immense amount of opportunity, right?
Definitely.
And, I don't want to say that there's people who get it and people who don't get it, but in reality, there are people who get it and people who don't get it, right? And the stubborn ones don't refuse to get out of the situation they're in and just maintain comfort in what they're doing at that level in Los Angeles, right? And everyone has a dream, but no one really has a plan, right? So the better they plan it though, and let's say all your focus is just climbing that ladder to being where you want to be, and you conspire and you think and really plan it out, that's going to get you somewhere, right? I can't say I can't guarantee it, because I'm not there yet. I'm still in the planning stages. But, it makes sense, because I mean, if you look at the history of everybody else, that's what they did, and they ended up there, right? It's all strategic.
But you're thinking like a few steps ahead, always.
Oh yeah, no, you always
That's
have
the big part of what the theme I'm getting from you is.
Oh yeah, no, like less anxiety on myself. So cheers to that. Like,
Yeah.
no, but like, if everyone were to think like that and to like use their resources to their utmost potential, mediocre wouldn't be mediocre. Mediocre would be stupidly good, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, life's unfair, and whoever gets the advantage, it gets higher than you, right? So
One of my mentors from school, you know, he told me it doesn't take much to go from mediocre to be outstanding. It's just that little extra, you know, that little extra something, that little extra effort, that plan, or that show up,
Yeah.
you know, be there,
Yeah.
have that one little extra thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's mediocre. Everyone's here. For people not watching, just you're in the middle, but like to rise above, just like do that one little thing.
Yeah.
And then boom, instantly you're exceptional.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, like if you carry yourself a certain way to like a certain extent of like quality in your work, if you like understand the industry you're in, if you're doing like stuff like that and being one step ahead always, or steps ahead,
yeah.
like you're always gonna have the upper hand on someone who wants it just as bad as you do. So that's why I try to stay like that, because I want this. Like I don't want to go back to school. I'm gonna be honest with you. If my mom ever listens to this, hey mom, I don't want to go back to school.
I don't want to
like,
go back to school.
School was hell. That's
Yeah.
why I dropped out, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's why I can't just like have nothing to show for after like you drop out. Like after you drop out, like if you have nothing to show for dropping out, like you might as well have just stayed, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's why it is now fully on me to go the extra mile, right? And to do those small steps to being like constantly not above, not better, but just like, yeah, above and better. Above and better than everybody, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're saying. There's, yeah. What was the reason that you dropped out of school?
Oh,
Or was there, maybe there wasn't one thing, but maybe.
well, first of all, I was in a good position when I like first moved here to like Vancouver, right? I was like in such a shitty position, right? And I just really wanted to get out of the city because like, as much as like today I try my best not to burn bridges, it's because of lessons I've learned of like burning bridges in Calgary, right? So in a sense, it was like a fresh start. Like I moved here for school. Like I told my parents I'm coming here for school, right? But I knew that school wasn't gonna last long. I can't do class, especially when it's 12 hours and like in a fucking basement in Gastown. Like you don't see the sun in the winter. I'm serious. You don't see the sun.
So you had no intention of actually seeing it through when you started?
No, God, no.
Oh, wow.
I had no intention in staying in school. I was like, on my third day of school, I like looked at like the policy for like tuition return.
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as you like the first 5 days of school, you drop out, you're good. You don't have to pay shit, right?
Okay.
As soon as you're like 3 months in, you only have to pay like 33%, right?
Okay, I see.
And then when you're like past like 3 months in, then they like just take everything.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, I'm gonna ride it out so my parents know that I'm in school. And then because film school's year long, right? My parents didn't know better. They thought it was just gonna be semester to semester to semester, right? As soon as that like semester ended, which is like 3 months into the year, I dropped out. Actually, some real fucked up shit happened, and like I was like, oh shit, I kind of have to drop out now. Like it's now or never. And I was like, I might as well, like because if I don't drop out, like I'm not going to be in Vancouver either way. So I dropped out. I realized that I can't have nothing to show for this. So I went back to like what I did in Calgary and what I'm doing here in Vancouver, like doing these videos, artist requirements, stuff like that. That's all like stuff I did in Calgary, but there's not a scene in Calgary. There is, but like it's not prevalent on like it's still grassroots. Here it's not grassroots. It's been going on for a bit, but like it's not on the international stage. So, well, it kind of is, but not in regards of like the music industry. Like I love the film industry.
Yeah.
I hate it too. That's why I chose to work on the music side of the industry, of the entertainment industry, because honestly, yeah, sure, everyone, you can make a lot of money from film, right? But what do you leave? Oh, I made fucking Finding Nemo 2. Like, oh, I was the director of Twilight, right? No, like, if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna leave a legacy. And if I can like bring this city up to the international stage, that is a legacy that I would be proud to leave.
Sure.
Yeah, and so far it's like doing okay. Like people are starting to like question what I do. They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" No, I stayed like incognito for like the longest time here. Like I try not to show face or anything. But when I realized like I really don't want to be working in a restaurant, like I love restaurants. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, I can't be working at a restaurant like every day and like going out every night. Like I was like, I need to find not just income, but like something I can actually do. And film was that, because I went to film school. I knew how it worked. I knew how the industry worked. I knew how cameras worked. I knew all the specifics to it, right? Like, and it works. I'm doing okay right now.
So you went to, it was this Vancouver Film School?
Yeah, Vancouver Film.
In Gastown.
Yeah, 142 Water Street.
And you weren't crazy about that. Some shit went down, and you kind of, right near the beginning, you kind of already saw the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you got out, but during the time you were there, I mean, did you create a portfolio? Do you have stuff that you were proud of from while you were in class? Like,
yes, I have a lot of stuff there, but because I haven't paid my tuition, I don't really get access to it. So yeah, I'm still paying off my student loan right now. So yeah, you know how it is. But like, I don't know, like the class dynamic was really off. Like no one was really on the same page. Our demographics, like age range, and like community wise, it was like spread out. Like we had like 37-year-olds. We had like, I was the youngest person there at 18, right? I was the youngest person there. There were no other 18-year-olds. Second oldest was like a good friend of mine, Thomas. He's actually the DP for Jamon's video. He was like 20, right? And he went to like UBC as well. So we were all like chilling and we were all good. And like that was the people I hung out with, like him and like one other person, because I valued their opinion on art, right? Because yeah, sure, you can listen to what critics have to say and everything, but if you don't, like when you find like-minded people, like I think that their opinion matters the most.
They're your peers, and you guys are same age group, on the same wavelength, kind of thinking the same. So yeah, that's important.
Yeah, but there was only one person like that. That's why nothing that I really made showed off like my true capabilities of what I could do, and as like there's no Vancouver music video school. There's nothing like that, right? It's mostly
not yet,
industry standard stuff, right?
Sure.
And yeah, you could go to art school to learn the more artistic side, or you could go to Vancouver Film School, which is more of a trade school.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this about Vancouver Film School, because like they are tight-lipped on everything.
Yeah.
Like one bad review and they just like ruin it. So, but it's a great school for animation. Probably best in North America. I want to say best in North America. Like they are a great school in that sense. But as a film school, it's good. They teach you everything you need to know. But I just think that there's not really more to that like creative add-on.
They were just rehashing the basics maybe, and it wasn't as progressive or as modern as you would have liked.
No, it's just like they don't teach like the true value of art. They teach you how to do it. They guide you in a sense, but you don't really find your influences and where you stem from there. Like I'm sure people in art school, because I've had talks with tons of kids from art school, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's just like questioning where your influence is, like why you why you make art like that, right?
Okay.
A lot of it's just that, and they don't really teach you how to find that in film school. But in art school, it's all about like finding that like creative like force in you to do that.
I guess a lot of it comes down to having a good instructor who's who's like passionate and is a good speaker and can get these messages across to someone who's just kind of going through the curriculum and is super bored. That's not helping anybody. You want someone to like light a fire under you, get you jacked, you know?
No, and there was definitely like more than qualified people teaching at VFS. Like VFS has industry like professionals. Like they're they've been in this industry for like the longest time,
Right.
and they understand it, and they know how to do their job well. And I valued their training because I honestly, like, it made me such. I'm not an organized I wasn't an organized person until like last year, because I dropped out of film school. I realized, like, hey, everything they taught me, like, I can't just like spend 15 grand on tuition and like not have to like not take anything from it. So like, putting their practices in play on like not just things that are exclusive to film, but like in life, that's a lesson itself, and that's a very valuable lesson.
Sure.
So
Huge.
Like, they hire the industry professionals, they do that, but they don't really teach you the creative side to it.
One of my biggest takeaways from school was nothing to do with music at all. It was file management. Like you said, being organized. Before that, I had no idea how to like put a bullet point in front of the title so that it would go to the very top of my searches, right? Like how to organize things, how to do a 1.0, a 2.0, save as, shit like that. How to have your audio files folder correctly organized. All this stuff makes you go from a bedroom producer to, hey, look, this is how the pros organize their sessions when stuff gets crazy. And I know that it gets crazy in the film world where you have terabytes of data and hours and hours and hours. If you're not organized,
good luck.
You're going to spend more time than you need to trying to get to that point, trying to get to a point where you can actually be creative. So you got to have that, being organized and stuff, and then everything else should fall into place. So that was a huge thing for me. Nothing to do with making beats or music or anything, but how to be pro and be organized. And I've always been so grateful for that. That was the biggest takeaway for me.
For me, like, honestly, I'm a huge fucking nerd for like standardization in the world. I know that like standardization is the death of creativity, but when it comes to organization and like industry standards, it is a courtesy to show it to them. And that's what separates you from like the pros and the amateurs, right? It's a courtesy to like file every single like budget report. It's a courtesy to file like every single schedule and get them sent out. It's a courtesy to do that because that is what separates the industry from like these do-it-yourself, right? I'm not trashing on do-it-yourself. I actually love the do-it-yourself community because they are pioneers in a sense. Like, those are the people that I hope have nothing but the best in life. Like, they have all the best intentions on hand and they're just using the means of what they have to do it, right? So like, I hope that like that area gets more recognition for what they do, right? Because I was like that. I'm still like that today, right? But there are things you learn in film school that you can't learn from like watching YouTube videos.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said, they may not be the most charismatic people, but these are industry pros that are there for a reason because they have the experience and they're going to show you, hey, this is how the pros do it. If you are in communication with someone else and you're sending emails and they need files from you and you're sending it and it's really sloppy and poorly organized, guess what? They're not working with you again. But if you make a good impression, your shit's put together nicely, they're going to want to call you back. You're going to be easy to work with. You've already had the
that
training.
Expectation bar was like set at that point. And they're like, that meets all my expectations. And from that point on, it's just perfect. Like, I can rely on this person to do the job that I gave them. So like, that's our jobs, technically. Being relied on to do other jobs. So, and
for me, like getting stems from producers, from beat makers, you know, even if it's like, it's not always the most talented that are the most organized, right? Sometimes it's like, it'll be a fire ass beat, but it's a shit show. It's
like, there's like 7 different channels.
And it takes like 4 phone calls for me to get everything that I need to start a mix. And then there's the other guys that, you know, subpar beat, but hey, has all their shit together. And guess what? Even if I'm not feeling it as much, like I prefer to work with that guy. Because he's got his shit together. Because he knew how to. I got a zip folder with everything, one WeTransfer, done. Period. Perfect. And then I can get to work. You know.
So
that's. But you know, not like you said, not everybody's going to be teaching this shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to go to school. You do need to talk to the right people, get the experience to go from being the bedroom producer, rapper, photographer to the pro level. And,
to the pro level and hold yourself at that standard forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I truly get that.
So it's, yeah. And for the people that don't have the privilege of being able to pay for school and go there, and like, I understand that, you know.
Yeah. Work. Like,
but
like, honestly, when I was working in a photo studio, I learned everything I had to know as like a grade, like a high school senior at a photo studio. I learned everything in that studio.
Yeah.
When I was in film school and people were like learning how to like set up stands, I was like, dude, like, come on, you guys are like, it's not hard. Like, you twist it, it opens, you twist it again, it locks. Like, so like, I get that in every single aspect, right? And if you don't have the privilege to go to school, like, find someone that is looking to like, not just assistants, right? Like, I was a studio assistant, and I understand like the studio assistant life. But you like the stuff you learn as an assistant is basically the things they teach you in film school, right? Or like stuff like that.
Have a mentor, put in free work, go work for free, go get experience, go be a runner somewhere, work under somebody. Like, I can't stress how important that is. If you're passionate about your craft, whatever it is, like, find someone who's better than you and go
ask them if
they need help.
Yeah.
I'm straight up. That's
honestly, like, if someone came up to me and was like, oh yeah, can you teach me like your like how to, like, can I work under you? I'll work for free, right? I'd send them like stuff you absolutely have to know as like an entry level producer, like how to make a call sheet, how to make a budget.
Sure.
I'd send that to them, include a little list of instructions and like how to name it.
Yeah.
And if they can follow those like simple set of instructions and all that, congratulations. You don't have to spend like however much money in film school to learn that, right? You learned it in like an afternoon because you read the instructions I wrote down. Yeah. And it makes it easier on my life. You get the experience, you know what has to be done. Like, you work on a project with me and you work for free for that. Like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, everyone please work for me for free. I'm just saying like, if you are curious, like, I understand where I was as a 17-year-old kid. I wanted where I like, it's crazy how like far I jump, right?
Yeah.
Like year to year, it's like exponential.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I realized how much I wanted this life when I was like 15, right? Like the life I'm living right now kind of sucks, but like, I mean, I get why it sucks because I'm so busy, right? Yeah. But it is what I've always wanted. And if a 15-year-old from Calgary, it would like anyone was like, yo, I want to like learn how to do short films. I see you're working on a short film. Do you have anything I can do for you? I'd give him like the most basic task and see if he could do that, move him up. And if he needs help, I'm there. Phone me. It's the future, right? Like, you don't have to like not wait on me to send a letter like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. Like, it's the future. Call me. I'm like, I'm a phone call away.
Yeah.
Like, it's simple like that, right? And I've been in that position where I've had to ask people for other people for like mentorship, and it's changed me. Like Perry, for example, I reached out to him by like emailing him, right? I didn't like, there was no hiring ad. I was like, hey, I'm graduated. I have no job. I'm going to film school in 7 months. Hire me.
Right.
And he was like, sure. He like looked at my portfolio, like my shitty little portfolio that I had. And he was like, yeah, you know how to use a camera. Yeah, sure. Come over. And I worked for him for a pretty long time and great relationship. Love that guy. When I was in Vancouver, he hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm doing a wedding. Like, would you like to come and work? I was like, oh, I got school. Cause I was like, by the time I like was still in school. And to this day, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back. Like, when I go back to Calgary, like next week, I'm going to like go back, say hi, drop in, be like, oh yeah, this is what I've done. Thank you for teaching me all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's where he wanted me because he saw something in me and he was like, yeah, sure. Hardworking kid, go right at it. Like,
and all of these people that we look up to, like, they weren't always there. They were us.
Yeah.
They were, you know, they just passionate, just be eager, show up, just have the right attitude, you know, go out there, be willing to help, be willing to learn, leave your ego at the front door and just go in like a sponge and just
Absorb
ask,
everything.
be helpful, make yourself valuable.
Yeah. And work
You've
hard.
got nothing to lose. Like,
Yeah, you literally have nothing like time. Like, what are you gonna do this later on? Like, that's
what are you
still
gonna
time. Like,
what? Yeah, watch Netflix.
Yeah.
And eat frozen dinners. No, like go out and learn
exactly.
something. Get out there. It'll be
Yeah.
you know.
and I understand. I'm stupidly like antisocial sometimes, right?
Oh, me too, man.
Yeah,
The worst.
I hate talking to people.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I hate it because I know, like, at this point I already know who that person is, what they do. I have like I like to say that I've learned this city pretty fucking well, right? I know the people, I know what they do, I know who they are, I know who their friends are, I know everything, right? So a conversation with them would be like pointless, but I realize that they have no idea who I am.
Okay.
So like that's why I hate talking to people, right? So I get why people are like, I don't want to do this because I'm shy, right? Like, you have nothing. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Like, just go out there.
Yeah.
Do something, anything.
Yeah. You got to be willing to fail.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's just huge.
100%. Like, if you're not willing to fail, you don't belong in this industry either way.
Yeah. Well, in
any industry.
any industry
Yeah.
that is creative or that is, skill based, where, you gotta, like, I love comparing what I do to like martial arts in a lot of ways, and like for like jujitsu, for example, like you start out as a white belt and you're gonna roll around with guys and you're gonna get caught in submissions. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
These little failures are like getting submitted,
You learn.
You learn
Yeah.
and you're going to get better. And then you're going to get your blue belt and you're going to get, and then eventually you become your black belt and you're teaching the guys below you that were you a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And we're all in this together. Like, we all want the same thing. We all just care about what we're doing and we want to get better at it ultimately.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned failure like that. Literally, I'm going fucking like sidetrack here, but like,
Please do.
yeah, in the AI development industry, like for artificial intelligence, right now the leading like cause of like, not cause, but like the only way robots like AI is right now, like AI, like why we consider AI is because they learn by their mistakes, right?
Whoa.
Like, convolutional neural networks work by like identifying things that are yes or no. Is it similar? Yes, no. And if they fail, they keep on testing it. They keep running data through it until like its fail rate is like 0 because it understands every single mistake it's made. And that's the beauty of big data, right? If you have all the data and you have computers to process it, you can literally not make a mistake. That's why like that is why we consider AI right now. Like, what everyone thinks AI is right now isn't real AI. Like, we're still a little further along the line. Like, we still got ways to go, right?
Yeah.
But like basics, like Siri, for example, like I feel bad for Siri because she had to get so much data pumped through her and like
Pumped.
Thanks, Max. Thanks. No, no, but like honestly, like Siri had to listen to every single fucking person with an iPhone 4S, and previous to that, every single command.
Yeah.
Learn it and do that, and then because Apple has like really good a really good privacy policy, they just stopped it. I'm pretty sure they didn't stop it, but they told the public they stopped it. So if you compare like Siri to other like assistants like Google Home or like Amazon Alexa, right? Stuff like that. That's like Alexa and Google, like they all take data from users to this day and they compile it and see if everything goes right. That's why feedback matters. Because like when you're reviewing a product and you say, "Oh, it can't," like I hate this product because it can't do blah blah blah, and like they realize it, they're like, "Okay, we'll make it better," and they feed every single way you could misinterpret like a word or something like that, and it understands and it learns from that.
So it's still actively getting better.
Yeah,
it's still learning.
It's still a work in progress, which is perfect because the more data that comes in, the more it works, right? So that's
but Siri isn't. You're saying like
Siri is Siri still is, right? Like in a sense, Apple is still doing it for like autocorrect. Like they're still doing stuff like that, like taking in data from users for autocorrect and like making it so it knows what words are typing. So like when you're drunk and you're texting, it knows because like there's so many fucking drunk people who are putting like X's next to J's and it's like, oh, they meant to type like shit, right?
Yeah.
Like it still takes that, but like they stop storing like user data.
Oh.
Yeah. They don't own the data anymore. Like it comes in and it goes, but like they don't own it, so they can't look at it long term. I could be wrong if anyone at like Apple or like Google is like listening. Like I love you guys. You guys have done amazing work. Thank you for making this, right?
Yeah.
I would have never thought of this in like when I was 10 years old. Maybe I would have, but like not to this extent. This is actually pretty fucking cool. I have a Google Home back in my house in Calgary. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like it is beautiful work, but that's how computers learn through trial and error. And that's why it's considered AI right now, because that's how humans learn. But it's the most basic AI. Because trial and error, yes and no, binary, right? Zero and ones. Computers are written binary, blah, blah, blah. Everything is a yes or no question. Everything can be a yes or no question if you make it, right? You just have to like find like a node to it. So it's like playing connect the dots, but there's like 12 trillion dots.
Yeah.
And you got to know which ones are the right answers for which path you got to take.
I find these days that I'm either really impressed or really disappointed with AI, but I'm not kind of in the middle with it. I'm consistently like, oh fuck, really? Or like jaw dropped, like, whoa, it can do that.
Yeah.
But there's no middle ground right now.
There's no middle ground. Yeah. I think we always get like impressed every day because it's like, wow, we're really living in the future. Like, I realize that like my iPhone right now has been stronger is more powerful than the past like 7 laptops I've had. I've had like 9 laptops in my life.
Yeah.
And the only thing the iPhone isn't beating right now is my current laptop. So like I don't know when it's gonna stop, but I'm excited and I'm happy for it.
Yeah,
so.
that's a thing growing exponentially, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like Moore's law is amazing. Woo. Oh, I miss being a comp sci kid. I truly do, but I don't have time to be a comp sci kid because there's culture here and there's something big happening.
Yeah,
this is my like ticket getting punched, so I can't leave now and go to school. But no, that's why I appreciate talks like this because I truly do miss the tech world. And if I wasn't doing a creative startup here, I'd be doing a startup in Silicon Valley. Like I'm 100% serious. I would have like illegally went there. Like I'm serious. Like I am absolutely serious. It hasn't happened. Yeah. It's not going to happen because I'm here. But if it wasn't because I wasn't going to school either way. Like I said, fuck school. Like I knew I couldn't do class. After like the last 2 years of high school, I was like, I'm never doing class again. Right. Like I was like, holy fuck, not going to school. Right. But I'm sure when I'm older, I'll like value it more and be like, it's just the qualifications or like something like that. Right. Or learning the standards that we talked about that are in that industry.
Yeah.
But until then, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to school. I would have like hopped in a minivan, went to like Montana, say, hey, I'm going to see the mountains, and like drove straight to like the Silicon Valley and like work at a Starbucks. And like, honestly, like I'd work at a Starbucks and like wait until like tech came in and then I'd talk and get my name out there. Exactly what I did here. So it would be the same formula
with a different skill set.
Yeah, and a different skill set. So
but you've got the right attitude, you know, and you've got the work ethic. So you could really do anything, you know. Those are like there are some key ingredients. Yeah. If we come full circle and talk about ingredients again, like there are certain ingredients that kind of not guarantee success, but like give you a way fucking better chance of it.
A good head start.
A good head start
in front of like everyone else who like I know people who are doing computer science that don't even like computers. They're like, I want to be an artist. I'm like, same man, but guess what? I was raised on this shit. I've been doing this shit since I was like, I've been working with computers since I was like 7. I built my first computer when I was like 10. Like,
oh wow.
Like I've always loved taking shit apart, right? So like computers are always interesting because I never knew how they worked, and like it just like irked me because like as a kid I always liked knowing, and like if I didn't know how something worked, I'd be mad, And like, even if I didn't know exactly what they did, like the first thing I ever opened was like a remote control for like a radio, right?
Okay.
I had like an iPhone 3, like, you know, the charger is like a docking station.
Yeah.
I'd like take that apart and be like, oh, this thing connects to the remote. I didn't know the actual terms for it, but I knew exactly what it did, right? And that's why like computers are so prevalent in my life, and like that's why I got into it and like really forced myself to understand it. Because sure, computers are easy to understand after you know like most things about a computer, but like you really have to like grind on it as well as like you do with anything else. You have to like really understand it to like see how it works. And that's why I'm trying to understand this industry so I can see how it works. And so far I think I'm doing a pretty good job at it, but like there are still things that pop up. I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like there's, I don't know how that happened. So
Yeah.
like I completely agree with that though. Like,
do you think you have to know something fully to be able to change the direction it's going in, like you said, like, or can you accidentally like be an overnight success and be like a trend and now people are following what you're doing? I think what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, like you said, you're trying to, you want to understand how something works really badly. So you go and take it apart and you dissect it from the ground up.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do that, would you still be able to change it? You know what I mean?
So it's like a question of like intelligence versus ignorance.
I guess so.
Sense.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. There's always that like random thing that happens where like it's a phenomenon and like they actually do blow up from like not being prevalent in a sense. But I truly think if you weren't destined to do it, you can still do it by knowing, right? And that's why, as you said, like the more ahead you are, like there you go, the ball's rolling, like you're good, right?
Right.
Yeah, the industry's evil, and I know the industry does like shady things, and I personally like, I'm kind of crazy. I like the idea of like an Illuminati like a recipe, like people that just know what works and what doesn't, right? So that's why I do it. Like I it's not like I'm like, please Illuminati, take me in. No, like it's not like that. It's just that machines work for a reason. That's why they're called machines, because they do one job. And I'm sure this industry is technically a machine. Like you understand, like I'm sure you know what like industry plants are and industry bugs are, right? Like when like an industry like fakes, they did it with like Fall Out Boy and shit, right? Where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna pretend like the trend now is to be like super independent, so we're gonna give them money just so they like work for us, but like they're gonna stay independent, or really they're working under our label, and then eventually down the line when they become more famous, we're gonna sign them because we gave them money earlier, and like they're just gonna like blow up. And then like people are saying like Billie Eilish is an industry plant because she blew out of nowhere. One person that I know is a fucking industry plant is Claro, and I'm calling out names because her dad's a marketing executive for Coca-Cola, and like so they obviously knew what they were doing, right?
Oh yeah.
They obviously knew, right? So like that's why I believe in this like in like knowing everything, and knowing how the machine works, because like when you're at that level and you have the resources to,
right,
and you understand everything, of course you're going to be able to just pop something out like easy, because you know how the industry works. You have the resources, you have all that, right? But the issue with me is I don't have the resources, and I'm still getting to like a point where I like fully know how this works. That's why I'm still like working at the nightclubs, because like you hear a lot of gossip from a lot of people.
I bet you do. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, no,
especially when people are drinking, they're going to be
they're drunk as a skunk and
slipping a few little extra secrets here. And there, you know?
Yeah, like the amount of gossip that runs through Vancouver is crazy. I'm like, dude, like wow, like I understand why this, and it starts to piece together as soon as you put all this gossip together, and you start to like separate the truths from the non-truths, and you're really like, everything makes sense now. So like that's why I believe in this intelligence versus ignorance thing. Like there's people who of course like blew up because like they were just doing something really good and like really no one's discovered, and they're like a phenomenon, right? But I do like to believe that at least like 80% of everything else was planned and calculated and happened on like good decisions and the right decisions alone. So
industry plants that you're talking about is what they're called, and they're put in there, and it's almost like so that they can run tests on them and see like how would this work out if we how is like it's a test. It's like throwing out an Android in there to see how it fits in with everybody else.
Yeah, in a sense,
gathering data on it. How will this artist do if we secretly invest a bunch of money in them, put them out there,
give them their aesthetic,
but don't tell anyone that we put any money into them, and then just see it the response from people.
Yeah, and like it's only become like I've only seen it like recently pop up on like in the years recently.
Yeah,
like started this year maybe, right? That was the first time I like ever like really dove into it. But it's not a problem. Like I'm not saying that industry plants are bad. It's just like lying about aesthetic that like you're selling to kids, like your marketing is still a service, right? Like, yeah, sure, it's still a service, it's still like a tangible business, but like really like because there are people who actually care about that culture, right? Like,
sure.
I care about this culture a lot. I care about these industries a lot because why? It's my like this is what defines our voice. This is the voice of our generation in a sense, right?
Oh yeah.
And culture itself is, as the famous G-Man would say, shout out to G-Man, thank you for hiring me. As the famous G-Man would say, like culture, G-Man and Jason, they both work at Fortune. G-Man like owns a building and shit, right? But yeah, I had to talk with Jason like my first day there. He really was like, so like we had a conversation like this. I was like really like driven into me. I was like, holy fuck, I'm doing everything right. So and he has like 20 years of experience. And if he's saying everything you're thinking, that's like, like something's adding up, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So yeah, but he's like, both their definitions are like of culture is setting up for the next generation, right? It's not making your generation be heard, but like inspiring the next generation and giving them their influences for like what they should like stem off from for when it's their time. And as a kid, when I was like 10 years old and I was watching like Black Eyed Peas music videos and like all that shit, like where is the love? Yeah. I realized that, there were very influential people that contributed to like the defining factors of who we are as a generation, like my generation, like the 1990s to like 2006s, 2005s, right? Like that, 95 to like, because like everybody in like the early 90s now are like weird, but because they're adults. So no offense.
I'm 89, so I don't fall.
Oh, you're good. You're good, my guy.
90s,
like you're good. Don't even sweat it. But no, like I like what like that everyone was doing in like 2010s when we were just teens and like we absorbed all this information and we were like really taking it in, and we're always like, oh yeah, like this is the positive message, like this is what's right. Was taught to us by the people who were at the top of the game at the time, right?
Yeah.
And if we take those influences and we just pass them down, that is the literal definition of culture, like to its like purest form. And it is probably the most important thing when it comes to not the industry as a whole, but the art. Because I truly believe that the reason why people's art is influential and like great, like I'm talking about like Renaissance artists like right now, like the reason why it's so influential and all that is because no one else was doing it like that, because everyone's influences were stemmed from a different area. Like Leonardo da Vinci was on a fucking different level. He like had his influences in check, he had good mentors, all that, right? And then he just pushed off from there. And then we absorbed it. Even to this day, people, it doesn't only reflect the generation after them, it still reflects like the entire generations after them. Like you look at Leonardo da Vinci's art and it's fucking beautiful, right? Who else was doing shit like that? That's why it's not about finding like the origin of people. It's more of like the origin of their influences, but it's more of finding your influences yourself so you could like push those down the line. And that's why I love being responsible with making art. I like responsible art's really important. Because you're like 10 years from now, kids are gonna be looking at my music video and be like, I want to make a music video like that. Then they're gonna do the exact same shit I did in like their own little city. And they're gonna make something and they're not gonna like reference it, but they're like pay homage to it, but they won't even know it. Because it's been that vision for them the entire time because it was their influence, right?
It's like carrying on a tradition, but it's unbroken. There's no gaps in between the like going back to the swollen members thing, there was that gap now. Where is our tradition? Where we have to pick up the pieces, but it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
But if there's mentors and there's people following each other, copying, but then still pushing it a level ahead.
Yeah.
There's this unbroken chain of tradition and of art.
Yeah. Like I have no issue with people who make shitty art as long as it pushes the envelope. If the envelope is pushed, that's all that matters at the end of the day. I don't care like how many like shitty reviews you get. I don't care about any of that shit, right? Like if it pushes the envelope, it was good enough. And if it was responsible, it was good enough, right? Because I look at like I'm a fucking weirdo. I like looking at like old French photos, like photos of France by like people that aren't alive anymore and like no one knows about, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why I like the archives. Like I love going to the archives and just looking at shit because someone took that photo back in like 1923. We don't know who it is, but he took that photo and in his head, that looked good. And I want to understand that. So that's why I love looking at old shit, old unknown shit, because it broadens my my influences and like where I take stuff from, right? Like I love old French New Wave films because they're so fucking different from like other shit.
Yeah.
Because like no one knows what's going on. But if you like put yourself in the position of the director and you like realize what was happening at the time, blah, 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 all that. And you're like, oh shit, I understand why they made this because there was a cafe, blah, blah, blah. We got bombed, World War II. There was no equipment. And then they're just like, fuck it, we have no film equipment. Let's just shoot films in the streets. And that was like what the Italians did, right? Because like everything was gone from the war.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I still want to make films because Italy is Italy, right?
Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
It's not even it's like it's not even supposed to make sense on the surface, but they're just metaphors for all the stuff that's going on and the stuff that has happened.
Yeah.
And you can choose to see it however you want, really.
Yeah, yeah. And it just makes sense because they're resourceful with it. And yeah. So in a sense you could say I'm a futurist because I like seeing that shit.
Yeah.
But also I don't like writing the future because that's a lot of responsibility. So yeah, sure, I can only go so far with like fully understanding everything.
Yeah.
Before like it's like, okay, you gotta back off, right? But it's good to just know. Like as long as you know, as long as you can put that information together, it's good to know and your influences will be there and you'll make good art, responsible art. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be watching a music video your kid sends you on like iPhone 19 and you'll see a shot that you did and like not patented but like really thought out and like really used everything technical to it, and you'll see someone pay homage to it and you'll be like, wow, I did that first. Some kid probably saw it, or some kid was thinking exactly like me at that time and he made the exact same thing. So that's where I want to be. Just making responsible art for the culture and the future generations after me. So yeah, because I hope if it's not us, at least we set like a baseline for the next person.
Set them up for success.
Yeah.
Realize that right now as creators, we actually have a responsibility for the future generation and we cannot let them down.
Yeah.
We have to, when we're finished, we got to leave something good for them to build on. Build the foundation right now. We're actively building the future.
Yeah.
With what we're doing.
Yeah.
As influencers. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
dude, the sunset, it got dim in here.
Yeah.
We got philosophical.
Yeah, no, like that's why I like talking to people, right?
That was cool, man.
I hate like talking to random people, but like people I know and like built a relationship with, of course, like I'll give you a piece of my mind in a sense.
It's good for you.
Oh yeah, no, like I love talking, but I just can't, like
to the right people.
To the right people.
In the right scenario.
Yeah, I only like-minded people.
Yeah.
So, cheers to that.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, this has been really cool, dude. I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Oh yeah,
but,
no worries.
Where can people check you out online if they want to get a little taste?
Yeah, so our website's up now.
Okay.
090.productions. If you have any video inquiries, my name is Jose IV, Jacob Navas Palanca. You could catch me on my Calgary number, 403-619-8776. I will put that out there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, Instagram, Jose Palanca. I'm not giving you guys my Twitter. I post reckless shit on my Twitter. So, but no, like art wise, if you really want to follow me, it's all there. Jose
Beautiful.
Palanca on Instagram. So yeah, hopefully like people understand what I'm saying and I'm not crazy, but
Oh, far from it, dude.
Oh, good.
No.
Have these talks.
This has been really dope, and a lot of really valuable, really insightful things have been said. I've enjoyed this tremendously. So thanks again, man, for coming through.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Everybody, check him out, Jose the Fourth. One more time, what was the website for everybody?
090-090.productions. No
Perfect.
.com. It's
Perfect.
.productions. And yeah, Jose Palanca on Instagram.
Amazing. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Peace.